Hello everyone, my name's Dean, and let's talk crypto. This is where you subscribe for daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the price of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today is November 25th, 2024, and it's a trap. It's a trap. People are very clearly looking at the same charts you and I are looking at, and we've been looking at on this channel day in and day out. We clearly see top signals. We clearly see rounded tops. We clearly see weakness at a local target. Yet and still, they're trying to tell you to buy. Do not buy the top. It's a trap. And we're going to get exactly into how it's a trap. We're also going to do an analysis of Litecoin. This Litecoin is a very underrated asset that very few people are talking about, and I'm gonna do a full analysis on Litecoin as if I was doing it for a client, in my portfolio consulting service. So I'm just going to give you a taste of what that looks like. If that all sounds interesting to you, then watch until the very end. Hope everyone's having a good day. As always, let's get started with Bitcoin. All right. If anybody can look at this, I don't care how much or how little experience you have looking at charts. If anybody can look at this and tell me that they're bullish, I don't know what to tell you. It's pretty glaring at this point. Yet and still, even on this 4-hourly time frame, looking at this nastiness, this very strong, clear, evident bearishness, you still have people telling you on social media to buy, right? And these are people with tons of followers. These are people with paid Discord groups, people that take money to consult on giving people signals on whether to buy or sell. Just to let you know, if you're new, because it's a bull market, so there's a lot of new people coming in. Just because people have big accounts, just because people made it in crypto, made a lot of money in crypto, doesn't mean they know anything. Anything about reading a chart. Okay? Just because they publish charts frequently on social media, just because they have big accounts, again, doesn't mean they know anything about it. Do your own research. Trust yourself. Use common sense. Please don't fall for it. It's another bull market we're going to go into very soon. So once again, people are going to fall for the trap of, well, such and such said to buy, so I bought and I got wrecked. Don't fall for it. Okay, we're just going to give a few examples. I'm not singling anybody out, and if you're an influencer watching this, it's nothing personal, but be more responsible when you're giving out these signals. I'm not saying that you have to be correct all the time. Trust me, I'm wrong all the time. It's just when it's very clear and you're still telling people to buy just for engagement, that sucks, right? Here, Crypto Rover, Bitcoin is about to go parabolic now. That was an hour ago. We just looked at Bitcoin on the 4-hourly chart. This is Bitcoin on the hourly chart. You tell me, is there anything that looks like a buy to you here? Does this look like it's at support or even a local support at all right here? Look, right here is some sort of support. It's not even there, right? And people are telling others to buy. Huge account. All right? Mr. Crypto, Bitcoin, back at massive support. Some random diagonal that he drew, right? Obviously, even if that was a legitimate support, you never hit something once and expect it to bounce. Usually you hit something twice or thrice, but that's basic technical analysis, which you should know. Clearly, Mr. Crypto doesn't know. Just because it's a big account, just because they may have made 1 or 2 good trades that changed their lives, doesn't mean you should listen to them. Do your own research. Crypto Rover, once again, this Bitcoin breakout is far from over. Okay. Honey, ETH about to have a golden cross on the daily. Last time we had this was back in November 23, below 2K, and it pumped 2x in the following months. Make of this what you will. Wrecked capital. This guy's, he won't stop. ETH, bull flag, breakout, confirmed. Any dips in the bull flag would constitute a retest, if at all necessary. Like, horrible advice. Crypto Amsterdam. Bitcoin's red, alts holding strong, ETH BTC up nearly 8%. I'm painfully bullish. And I promise you, I did not cherry pick. I just went through my Twitter timeline, and I just bookmarked all of the crypto related ones. They're invariably all bullish. Again, the market makes the fool out of most. I have in the past few days seen a few accounts say, well, I don't know about this, and there's some downside targets that I'm looking for, but literally very few. Okay, Shelby, Bitcoin to 100K, send it to 100K, everybody, right? Ali, the super indicator flipped bullish on Bitcoin hourly chart as prices break through any resistance trend line, as well as the RSI today could be the day 100K. Right, Ash Crypto, ETH just broke 3,500. All eyes on 4,000 now. Alt season confirmed. I could go on. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on. Just be very careful. There's a lot of tomfoolery, clownishness, horrible technical analysis on social media. So don't fall for it. It's a trap. All right. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. Do your own research, do your own homework, look at the charts, make sense of the charts. And if you fail using your own calls, well, at least it was your call. There's nobody else to blame. That's your money. It should be your call. It doesn't mean you can't be influenced or informed by an influencer or another analyst. All right, now let's look at Bitcoin ourselves. What's it look like? Well, it looks like a rounded top, like we've been saying, at this level, with the head or with the high rather at 99, and these seem to be the shoulders, right? And remember, why do we look for rounded features? Because they typically designate extremities, tops and bottoms. So you get a rounded feature. That's just how price goes, right? It struggles, it makes the top, then it struggles to hold it. That's just basic math. And that's why you see roundedness at tops and bottoms. Now, if you see random, or not random, but excuse me, attempts to reclaim the top, that's normal. That's what price does. It's going to attempt to reclaim until it can no longer do so and it falls through. Okay? And again, I've said this for a few days, but obviously these distribution channels take time to form. But you know what doesn't take much time? The drop. So the drop can happen in 15 minutes, although the distribution channel took 6 days, 7 days plus to form. That's normal, right? So you want to be careful with that. And this is the time you want to act. This is the time you have to look at the chart and determine, okay, if you want to take profit or not. You can't really do it there because that happens literally in a flash. Reason being, people are convinced that Michael Saylor putting in a spot buy is going to send the price up regardless of what the technicals show. People are convinced that they're owed 100K at least, because why not, right? Everybody wants 100K, so why not give 100K to the masses? So they're still buying, and they've got their stops here, and that is going to cause a cascade of liquidations where the price is just going to hit stops that are long, liquidate them, stop them out, and then finally come to rest, go up again, and then do it again. In very likely, at least this is more likely than not. This, I think, high probability, but this is highest probability right here, this drop right here, okay? And the first target is going to be the top of this multi-year channel, as we talked about before, okay? So that's Bitcoin. There's nothing really more to say. I've said this before in multiple episodes. I've been saying this for many days now. It's a great idea to sit on your hands, wait. If you're not getting in a nice short position, sit on your hands, wait. Not just for Bitcoin, but for altcoins. Because once we get to this first support level, then some altcoins are going to be set and at support and ready to go, that would be a great time to buy. Okay, not everything is going to be ready then, but some will. And Litecoin, I believe, is going to be one of those. I talked about Ethereum last time, and this time I'm going to talk about Litecoin. So Litecoin, let's change the chart. Oh, before I go there, I just want to show you this. So look at this chart of Bitcoin dominance. And Bitcoin dominance is an indicator, okay? It's an indicator telling you how much Bitcoin is gaining against the rest of the cryptocurrency market. When Bitcoin dominance goes up, that means Bitcoin's gaining against the rest of the cryptocurrency market. Usually that means the market's dumping and altcoins are dumping even more. When Bitcoin dominance goes down, that tells you that either Bitcoin is gaining and altcoins are gaining more, or Bitcoin is losing and altcoins are losing less. So don't necessarily think that just because right now Bitcoin dominance is going down a bit, that means that altcoins are flying. That may just mean that Bitcoin's going down and altcoins are going down a little less. And that makes sense, right? Because altcoins, a lot of them, haven't pumped as much as Bitcoin, so they're closer to support, i.e. Ethereum, i.e. Litecoin, large market cap altcoins. So understand what this indicator is telling you. Furthermore, what you may very well see at this point in time, given this momentum indicator on the 4-hourly time frame, and what this chart is saying is a bullish divergence. This bullish divergence may show a move like this. And that would make a lot of sense to me, because here I'm counting 1, so A, B, A, B, A, B, C, the start of alt season right here. So I would not be surprised if Bitcoin dominance flew up from here, and because this is support, right? And here you can see any cross on the 4-hourly time frame within the next couple candles would confirm a bullish divergence right here. And that is, Bitcoin down to our first level of support, and some altcoins are just going to plummet. Okay? So, we talked about Ethereum. We talked about how Ethereum was likely going to where it was going, and, it had 19 or 22, 23% to the downside before reaching support. Now let's talk about Litecoin. So again, when I consult and people ask, hey, look, I'm new to crypto, or I've been in crypto for a bit, I have X amount of money I'd like to invest, what do you recommend I invest in? I don't say, oh, go invest in that random shit coin, and you may win, you may lose, I don't know. No, it is very irresponsible to tell people to buy high risk assets. Obviously they can, but you have to look at the risk profile. I typically tell people to buy blue chips. We call things blue chips in crypto that are typically in the top 10, typically well vetted, typically already have an institutional adoption, and they are tried and true and have stood the test of time. Litecoin is one of those assets. It's been in existence almost as long as Bitcoin, almost as long as actually longer than Ethereum, almost as long as Bitcoin. It's, I think, the second longest standing cryptocurrency, and Litecoin is pretty consistent and never goes down. The thing with Litecoin that people don't like is the price action. The fundamentals you cannot debate. You can't tell me the fundamentals aren't rock solid. Litecoin has been Litecoin. The thing that people don't like, and why Litecoin doesn't get as much respect despite its solid fundamentals, despite its longevity, is this 7-year consolidation. But what I tell my clients is take advantage of this 7-year consolidation, because there's a saying in technical analysis, the longer the base, the higher in space. If something has been consolidating for a very long time, that means the uptrend is going to be that much more potent. An accumulation is called an accumulation for a reason. What has been accumulating? Buy orders have been accumulating. So for 7 years, people have been accumulating Litecoin. Institutions, private parties, governments have been accumulating this asset. And the next most likely target, and this is really easy because it is a 7-year resistance, basically the top of this 7-year channel, right? That started in 2017. As you can very well see on the chart, it's really clear. You have really clear line of resistance at the top here. That is a 6x move. You want a quick 6x? Well, get into Litecoin at some point in time. And I'm going to give you something more that I give my clients. I'm going to tell you more precisely where you can get in. I'm not just going to say get in at some point here. No. We're going to delve down in the smaller time frames, and I'm going to try and pinpoint to maximize your investment where you should get in, and then let your asset go 6x. Then take profit before a retracement of significant amounts before you get back in and let it run even more. So this is kind of why I recommend, and I talk a lot about Cardano in my consulting in my consulting meetings. I talk about Litecoin, obviously a little Bitcoin exposure, but when it comes to alts, I look at diversifying in tried and true solid assets that obviously have good fundamentals, but obviously also have good technicals, where the client's not necessarily going to be left there holding a bag of something that didn't run when everything else is running, because that's what happened the previous couple bull markets in Litecoin, in XRP. But then a good analyst can see when those consolidations are up. And in XRP, I'm not going to talk about XRP right now, but in Litecoin at least, that is up. Very likely up. Okay? Even worst case scenario, if this continued, just like twice in the past, you're heading for this top, this resistance at the top of this 7-year channel. Okay? So that's the high time frame story on Litecoin. That's the fundamentals of it, right? So I jumped down into the smaller time frames. Let's go on the daily and let's see what's been happening. So again, with most altcoins, what you can see is a bottom was made in August, okay? And that was made as well in Litecoin. This bottom in Litecoin was actually very bullish. Why? Look at the structure of the price action in this bottom. And we saw this in Ethereum. It formed an ascending wedge, we call it. Okay. An asset that's bullish, but not so bullish, right, forms an accumulation channel like so. It's orthogonal, it's straight, it's rectangular. Really bullish assets have so much buying pressure that over time they form higher highs and higher lows, even in their consolidations, even in their accumulations. So you can look at this as an ascending wedge, or you can look at this as an upwards diagonal channel. Either way, it's very bullish. I like to look at it in the sense of an ascending wedge just to stay consistent, or an ascending channel just to stay consistent, because you can better understand what needs to happen, because we know channels very well. Okay, wedges, fine. You look at it as a wedge, you break out, you retest, and you go. That's one way to look at it. Look at it as a wedge, right? And look, the wedge broke out at this point right here early November, just like a lot of breakouts happened. And after that, you get a nice retest of the resistance, the upper resistance of the wedge that you're going to retest as support, and then you move on. I'm telling my clients to buy here. And again, people wondering, what are you selling? Well, I provide portfolio consultation for cryptocurrency portfolios, how to balance them, minimize risks, maximize profits, and you can check it out on buymeacoffee.com. Pin comment below. In any case, that is my buy anywhere at or near that. It doesn't need to be exact, but anywhere at or near that point. And that point is likely to be reached once Bitcoin draws down in our first retracement, right? That we looked at earlier in this video. Okay. The other way you can look at it, again, is a slanted or upwards channel. And we know channels very well on this channel because we talk about channels all the time. Channels have three main features: a top, a bottom, and a midline. Before you leave the channel, you need to retest the midline. That was done right here. Boom. Okay? Once you leave the channel, you not only have to retest, you have to retest the top, but typically you retest the top multiple times, right? With a proper retest. Or sometimes that top or the midline can be retested multiple times. So this is another way to look at it. All right. I think this is less likely of a scenario because the rising channel is less of a... I don't know that is as probabilistic as the ascending wedge, but one could say that this is the target to the downside for Litecoin, the top of the channel right here, or even another midline retest. Okay, so I would also caution the client to look for these levels right here, just to be thorough. Look for the top of this channel, look for the midline of this channel, but my sense is this is the point that we're going to rest at. But just pay attention to these three areas for support for Litecoin, okay? And another reason why I like this this area down around 72 more, because the first one's only a declension of 10%, okay? That's relatively modest given what Bitcoin's likely to do. If Bitcoin goes down 18-20%, for Litecoin to only go down 10% is, I mean, that is quite impressive. The second one is a drawdown from here where we're at 15%. That's more likely, but I really think that the third one, being a drawdown of 23%, which is comparable with what Bitcoin's going to do, is most likely. And it's a final flush to this level right here. If we clean this up right here, you can see that this is quite clearly an important level where I put this red rectangle because it was the resistance of all of this price action. A breakout of this only tested once is unlikely. Once with one sort of one, what do you call those? One candle, right, on the daily time frame is unlikely. It's more likely than not that we put in a more thorough retest. And last reason why I love this 72 level is if you take your Fibonacci retracement tool, what do you see? If you take all of this breakout, right, from here all the way here, I would say this is the orthodox top. This is my initial break. This is my B wave. I like this because it's consistent with what I'm seeing throughout the market, which is a 786 flat retest of the initial break that took place on November 4th. So basically you're coming down 78, 79%, where I see a lot of altcoins doing that. and that gives you your 70 to 70, 71, $72 target. And that flushes a lot of, you know, open interests out, people that are long, that have their shorts here and here and here. That flushes all that out. Why is that important? Because that allows a liquidity to be grabbed for a massive run up to the next target, which is up here around 140. So I think it just doubles like that. So it comes down to that 70, 71, 72 level, and then does a 2x going to 140, and then comes down. That's wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5, and then you get your 6x swiftly. That's what I like in Litecoin. That is my analysis in Litecoin. So, this is how I would recommend an asset. And then depending on how much the person had to invest, I would say, okay, maybe you want to allocate this much of your portfolio to Litecoin, this much to X, Y, and Z. And, I don't really like this because I did a fundamental analysis on this and it's quite risky. I mean, you can do it, but please understand the risks of this pump fund coin or whatever. Do you understand? So that's it from me. Hope this was helpful. If this was useful, like, share, and subscribe. If you got value, consider buying me a coffee at the pinned comment below. And as always, I hope you're making gains, taking profit if you made gains, and having a good day. Take care. Bye.